13 volts. Well, they're reading 12.4. The fact that it would drop down to 12.5 volts after the engine was started, something weird's going on there, and I don't think our alternator is actually charging the batteries. Now we could get into that a little bit more and diagnose it and look into it further, checking the regulator, checking voltage up there, but this thing's so easy to get out. Let's just peel it out of there. It's got 140,000 miles on it and several hours of runtime. I think that might be the ticket. Let's sling some parts at it. So you're telling me I have to move this radiator, take this big fan shroud out that's bolted on the engine, remove the clutched fan assembly just to change that belt? What? I've been complaining about this belt and this fan guard situation for a couple days now, and maybe I was wrong. I don't know yet. We're just going to try to take the belt off, and if we can get the belt off, we can probably get a new one on. Supposedly you give the belt a yank and it moves the tensioner up. And there's a little kickstandy thing underneath there. Oh, I can feel it. Not anywhere near where it needs to be. This thing is just in the way. Tried to take it off before, it wasn't working so hot. Okay, yep, you just break it right off of there. That's what you do. The way that was on there, it was clipped on this seam, all one big piece. I didn't want to take it off. I tried not to take it off, and the only way it's coming off of there is in pieces. So it's over there somewhere. You can see that stent of the inner fan guard, and you can see you can actually see the belt path more, and you can actually see the tensioner. Now, just maybe now, I can get the wrench on the tensioner. Oh man, that's really hard to turn. It took a jack handle and the ratchet wrench to get that over far enough, and we finally got that kickstand in. Kickstand's great. No way I could get enough movement out of that belt just by pulling on it and trying to shove the kickstand in. So we got our 1/2-inch drive ratchet wrench with our big old long pipe up here, getting her kicked over. That's a cool feature. I can't get the... I can't get the ratchet wrench out now because it's rotated. Who designed this? God. Ah, finally. This is that boss. Here's our belt. I think maybe it just needs to go up. Ha! You're holding up on the other side of that idler pulley on the tensioner. There's very little room in between the crankshaft pulley and the tensioner. It's gonna be a nightmare to get back on. I just got 3 bolts here, single alternator unit, charge wire, and plug. Should we disconnect the battery? Don't really want to. We're gonna try to short this out. And we're gonna short it out. plug on the back here. Okay. Here we try to do a little DC welding right there. Oopsie. That idler, got the tensioner idler. It's got another idler on that side. AC's down there. Let's make sure nothing feels really tight or crunchy. Napa brand part number. This thing's really long. Gotta get that huge snake down back in there. So we know it has to go groove side around the crank. So this has to go down in there like so. Stuffed it all in above that mounting lug right there, right down in there. Got it around the main crank, then whipped it back around the fan, and then we were able to get in from this side and the top, stuff it down, pull it over. There's an idler in there, and then the power steering pump. You get it stuffed down far enough, catch it from the bottom, wrap it around it. Over here, we had a little bit of difficulty on the tensioner because it has to come up around this side of this one right next to the crank, go back down. When it kicks back down, it goes around the bottom edge of the air conditioner. We were trying to bring it both back up there, so we had a little bit of trouble there, but we're able to do that without really removing anything other than this plastic piece that we broke here. So it's really surprised. All we really removed was this plastic piece here that we broke. I did take one other bolt out from the inner on the bottom, but that was when I was struggling with this and it didn't really help. So we'll show you that on the bottom side. So we're dealing with that Kohler, we got them all silver streaked up because I really don't want to dig bolts out of aluminum anymore. And this is supposedly the neat feature, which I could not get it to work the way it's supposed to. Supposedly you pull this and the kickstand, if you will pop out of the tensioner and it should just tension right up. So we're going to have to go back to the wrench. So 3 bolts, a plug, a nut for the wire, and then really fighting this belt, which that took the majority of the time. Broke this plastic cover on the top side that kind of hooks up there. I don't know what the significance of that is. Don't know if we're going to be able to put that part back on. Let's go underneath. From the underside here, we're looking at the lower radiator hose, this inner plastic fan. Here's a bolt from here back to the engine block. This is a spacer. This is the one that I took out, but doesn't really do anything to try to get this belt wrapped around the AC compressor. You should be able to do it without taking that out. And then there's the crank. Basically shoved it from the top side down through here first. Came above that, shoved it down through here, got it around the crank, and ran it around the top, pushed it down. You got a lot more room right here. You grab the belt, pull it under, put it in the power steering pump, and then do the rest from the top. Let's touch fire up, see what she's gonna do. $69 amp.